Alright, so it's time to go around the NFL. Top 5 thoughts around the NFL on the Tyler Werner Show. First time in this 2015 NFL season. So we go around talking about some of the things that happened outside of the Philadelphia Eagles franchise. Looking around the league. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Starting with number 5. Some other games that happened around the NFL. Starting with the NFC East. With the Cowboys and Giants rivalry matchup this weekend. And the Dallas Cowboys eking one out against the New York Giants 27-26. Now, granted, it was a very sloppy game, to say the least. I mean, the Giants and Cowboys, they looked a little unprepared and sloppy. Romo had 2 picks. There's a controversy with timeouts and miscues with Eli Manning blowing it and Tom Coughlin. Just a mess of a game between 2 NFC East rivals to the Philadelphia Eagles, of course. And again, the Cowboys eking one out. Dez Bryant going down for the Dallas Cowboys, of course, out 4 to 6 weeks, injuring his foot. But Tony Romo managed to throw the game-winning touchdown pass to Jason Witten, proving he was clutch. But then again, they got to play the Eagles this week, obviously. Without Dez Bryant, big opportunity for the Eagles to take advantage of a huge game. Can't let the Cowboys go 2-0, obviously, and be down 0-2. So, big, obviously, Cowboys only team that won in the NFC East this week. So, good way to start the season for them, I guess. Number 4. Now, this is a game between 2, I guess, crap teams, if you want to call them, at least based off of last year. But I'll tell you what, Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans, they didn't, at least against the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, they didn't look like a crap team yesterday. As a matter of fact, Jameis Winston, his first NFL drive, he throws an interception. Marcus Mariota, touchdown. As a matter of fact, Marcus Mariota threw 4 touchdowns. As a rookie quarterback in his first NFL game, the first to do so since Frank Tarkenton. I don't know. Titans, credit to the Titans. Using Marcus Mariota to his strength a little bit. Who says he used to come out in the NFL and, be a carbon copy of a drop-back quarterback? Who says they can't use him, at least parts of what he did at Oregon? Not everything that he did, or not run the Oregon offense in Tennessee, but do some read option looks, incorporate some of that playbook into their game. Well, it's at least sure he's gonna have some growing pains, I'm sure, this season as a rookie, but definitely a good debut for Marcus Mariota in this game, without question. Against the Buccaneers, albeit, but nevertheless, it shocked me. And I gotta say, I went into a suicide pool, and I was convinced. My strategy in this survivor pool was that, well, I don't want to use a team that I think is an obvious win. Like a, say, good team that I really thought was going to win. Let's see, for instance, say I thought the Broncos were surely going to win that game, which they did, not by much, or the Bengals. I didn't want to pick one of those teams. I wanted to pick a team that, since you can't use them twice at all this season, I wanted to pick a team that I thought is the, at home, best chance to win. I picked the Buccaneers because I thought the Titans they were awful last year. And I at least thought the Buccaneers, they got a decent receiving core. I at least thought they were going to come out better than what they came out with. And quite frankly, I was wrong. the Buccaneers come out flat, and week 1, I'm out. You know, maybe I overthought it. Maybe I should have just picked a safer pick, I guess. But nevertheless, I failed, and it's all because of the Buccaneers, Jameis Winston. I don't know, but anyhow, enough about me and my failed picks, I guess. In the survivor pool. Number 3. The Buffalo Bills shut down the Indianapolis Colts. And I think that's the best way to phrase it. I mean, it was in Buffalo, but the Bills, defensively, I mean, first half not allowing Andrew Luck to do anything really with his offense, and shutting them down, pretty much taking an early lead in this game and holding them off 27-14. I was impressed. And I was especially impressed with the new quarterback for the Buffalo Bills as well, under Rex Ryan. You know, it's funny because LaShawn McCoy, after the game, was yakking it up with some former Eagles, Trent Cole and Todd Hermans, who are on the Colts, who are both washed up at this point, as it is. And LaShawn McCoy, having only run 41 yards in this game off of 17 carries and essentially being a non-factor whatsoever, basically took to a photo with Todd Hermans and Trent Cole on the Indianapolis Colts after the game or whatever, said, we're the Eagles rejects or whatever. And again, I give all 3 guys pretty much non-factors in this game whatsoever. Again, the story of this game really was the quarterbacking of the Buffalo Bills and the defense of the Buffalo Bills, only allowing this, what's supposed to be a great offense in the Indianapolis Colts, and a top 5 quarterback in the league, Andrew Luck, holding them off to 14 points. But again, I mean, it's week 1. Stuff like this is bound to happen. But nevertheless, a good start for the Buffalo Bills. Number 2. This is where things really start to get interesting. The St. Louis Rams upset the Seattle Seahawks in overtime, mind you. Nick Foles in his first game with the St. Louis Rams, holding them off.
How's everyone doing?
Yeah.
Let's make some noise, come on!
Although I would say it was a lot of this loss for the Seattle Seahawks, it had to do with the St. Louis Rams special teams, really. I mean, Nick Foles was efficient. He was 18 for 27, 300 yards and a touchdown. So they moved the football, certainly, against the Seattle Seahawks defense. But again, I mean, it was, a lot of special teams issues certainly were a problem. And ironically, this game was a bit of a high-scoring game here. But Seattle at St. Louis typically tends to be a matchup problem for Seattle, it seems, in recent years. Despite the Seahawks, going 12-4, going 13-3, 11-5 the year before that. They've had problems in St. Louis, certainly. And of course, we saw that early last season as well, in an early season game against the St. Louis Rams. But nevertheless, comes to overtime, and the Seahawks blow it after making a pretty impressive fourth quarter comeback later in the game. But again, too little, too late, essentially. They have to take it to overtime, and they come up short in overtime. But I wouldn't, if I were Seattle, I wouldn't push the panic button just yet. But definitely some things to look out for there. And again, Nick Foles, respectable first performance for the St. Louis Rams against the Seattle Seahawks defense. So, good for Nick Foles.
Let's make some noise, come on!
And I mean that sincerely. I don't mean that sarcastically. It just wasn't cutting it here in Philadelphia. That's the bottom line. Number 1, got to go back to Thursday Night Football to open the regular season of the NFL to begin with. The New England Patriots, Tom Brady lights it up, 4 touchdown passes, goes 25 for 32. pretty much has a field day. Not to mention Rob Gronkowski, who is my fantasy football tight end for the second straight season. 3 touchdowns. He gets the hat trick and 2 fumble recoveries. I mean, Gronkowski is, right now, my MVP of the week, if you want to, I guess, bring up an MVP of the week kind of deal there. And my applause to Rob Gronkowski, to Tom Brady. Many originally thought he was not going to play this game, he was going to be suspended or whatever. No. As we all know, justice was served. Tom Brady had a field day. Quite a way to respond and kind of stick it to all the doubters there, at least in the first game of the season against the Pittsburgh Steelers at New England. They were calling, the fans at one point were calling for, where's Roger? Because Roger Goodell wasn't at the game, whereas, normally he is. Stuff like that. Just, good way to kind of stick it to Roger Goodell. And, people say what you want about, Tom Brady or whatever. I'm sorry, the new ball measuring policies or whatever they got going now, Tom Brady comes out, he lights it up. 25 for 32, 4 touchdowns. A pretty flawless day for Tom Brady. And of all the teams out there, a lot of them look unprepared. And certainly the New England Patriots look like one of the more prepared teams in the NFL this week. So, obviously, now defensively they may have some issues. Certainly. But nevertheless, you got, Tom Brady out there lighting it up, as always, showing no signs of slowing down. And you got Rob Gronkowski out there, bar none, the best tight end in the NFL. And, the top 5 players of 2015 on NFL Network, obviously right up there with Tom Brady as well.
To me, those balls are perfect.
And whatnot. So that was that. But, of course, for those who watched the game or haven't heard already, there was some controversy, and not with the balls.
I've handled dozens of balls over the past week.
No, there's not controversy with balls or anything, but apparently, obviously, with radio headsets. For those who are listening to the game, watching the game, listening to news and whatnot. That is, I guess apparently being looked at by the NFL. Apparently, there was griping from the Steelers, early in the game, Mike Tomlin, that their headsets was picking up the Patriots radio signal or whatever, radio feed or whatever you want to call it. And obviously that was, kind of hampering what they were trying to do and whatnot. Now, there was press conference, the post-game press conference with Bill Belichick. He briefly touched on it. And it was kind of funny. He was dressed up. It was pouring in this game, and obviously that had something to do with radio interference and just, it was a mess of a game. It was pouring, especially later in the game, and Bill Belichick claimed that there were a couple instances where the Patriots were having problems with their headsets. And right away, people jump to oh, look at this. Now they're messing with the radio. I get, the NFL, I guess, is going to look at this. Let's not, I guess, go overboard too quickly. But apparently, this was another, I guess, radio issue, and the Steelers supposedly had some controversy with this. And Bill Belichick kind of, again, he kind of said how every now and then they have issues with headsets during games in the post-game press conference, which, by the way, there was an article on Bleacher Report, and, what you didn't see behind the podium, there's a picture of Bill Belichick, and apparently during that press conference, he was dressed, quote-unquote, to go sailing because he had a pair of sandals or flip-flops on or whatever, and a pair of khaki shorts or whatever, and kind of just a plain dress shirt on. So, apparently, I don't know, he was dressed to go sailing, according to what Bleacher Report said. Upon stumbling upon this picture of Bill Belichick in flip-flops and short shorts, I guess, or not short shorts, plaid shorts after the game during this press conference behind the podium. But actually, where it really got, I guess, juicy is when Bill Belichick in a conference call was asked about it, and for everybody's listening pleasure, for those who haven't heard it, several minutes long. Hear what Bill Belichick had to say, at least for now, because this is something that the NFL is going to look at. Chip Kelly said that for his thoughts on, he was asked about Radiogate during the weekend or whatever, and what Chip Kelly had to say essentially was, at times our headsets have picked up air control.
Was that like a wise-ass comment?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess apparently, at least with, according to Chip Kelly, I mean, picking up air traffic control and whatnot like that. I mean, I guess things like this happen, and Bill Belichick kind of touches on this in this press via phone, I guess. So, for those who haven't heard, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard this conference call with the media the day after, I guess, press conference with Bill Belichick. So, let's go to the phones, I guess.
Let's go to the phones.
As Tony Bruno would say. And hear what Bill Belichick had to say. Gets a little feisty in a couple instances.
Hi, Bill. I know you were asked about the communication issues last night, and I know you said that you hadn't had any answers as to why that happened. The NFL released a statement that we all saw. I'm wondering if you got any answers, since we talked to you last night, beyond that statement that the NFL released.
No. I'll just say it's pretty common, look, there's a lot of stuff down there. There's the coach to quarterback stuff, offense and defense. There's the headsets to the press box. There's the tablets. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and we had some problem. Like, just as an example, we had some problems in the first half, and then that seemed to be okay. And then we got to the end of the game, and the most problems we had were on our last two possessions on offense and defense. So, sometimes it goes along and it's fine, and then for some reason something happens, and then you go to the guys on the sideline, the blue hats or the purple hats, whatever they're called, and then you tell them about it, and they fix it. I don't know enough about technology to know how any of that works, but that's how it goes. And we ended up hardwiring a couple of our headsets to kind of eliminate the wireless part of it. But it's not an uncommon problem. We end up having to signal some of our plays offensively, and we couldn't get them in. But that's I think we look at it as something you have to be ready for every week. We practice it. So it's home, away. I don't really think there's any common denominator on that. But I'd just say on kind of tying this in with a couple things from last week, or earlier in the week. I just think overall it's kind of sad, really, to see some stories, written that obviously have an agenda to them with misinformation and anonymous type comments and writing about warm drinks and trash cans and stuff like that. I mean, it's just, I think it's a sad commentary, and it's really a very, that it's gone to a pretty low level. It's sunk pretty deep. And I just, first of all, would say that I think that our program here is built on, competition and, trying to improve every day and trying to work hard. And it's not built on excuses. And we just try to go to work and improve and find a way to get better. And, this organization's won a lot of games, but particularly in reference to, the great teams from, 01, 03, 04 back in there, and all the great players that played on those teams, Ty Law, Malloy, Otis Smith, Rodney Harrison, Brewski, Izzo, McGinnis, Vrabel, Pleasant, Seymour,
Wiggins,
Matt Light, Andruzzi, Steve Neal, Branch, Troy Brown, Brady,
to me, those balls are
Smith,
perfect.
Kevin Falk, Corey Dillon, Lonnie Paxton, Vinatieri. I mean, all, to take away from what those guys accomplished, what those teams accomplished, how good they were, how many great players we had, how well they played in big games, how they, consistently showed up and made big plays and game-winning plays. It's not right. Those guys were great players and many more. But, I mean, those are a few of them. And great teams. So I'm not going to get into a back and forth on it, but that's the way I feel about it.
Bill, it's Mike Reese. I was going to ask you a question along the same lines, so you might answer it the same way. You might defer to the answer you just had, but Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to get into a back and forth on this.
Yeah, I get, and tell me if this qualifies. I was curious if you have a lot of the same issues on on the road too with the headsets.
Yeah, I'm just going to focus on the game here, and I'm not going to keep talking about it. No, really not. I've said all I have to say.
Right. Coach Dan Housley from 7 News. I hate to get back to this, but I think people are going to be stunned by your comments, revelations of your feelings about the past accusations. What pushed you to talk now? Was it the headset thing last night, or was it the articles last week?
Yeah, I'm really through. That's all I got to say.
This is the end of this subject for me for a long time.
All right, so that was, in essence, what Bill Belichick had to say on the matter of Radiogate or Headsetgate, whatever, people want to call it, after New England Patriots beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football. I guess, that's being looked into, I guess, or whatever. And so, I don't know. I guess we'll see if anything really even comes out of it, but obviously I don't, I think it might just be, technological issues, and from what we're hearing, it seems like this is something, at least according to Chip Kelly as well, this is something that kind of has been going on around the league, and, it's just something that happens, I guess, depending on, whether it be weather issues or whatever it may be, devices, tablets, all kinds of electronic devices tampering with radio feed signals and whatnot. So that's pretty much that for, week 1, top 5 thoughts around the NFL right here in the Tyler Werner Show. So essentially with that in mind, I mean, it's basically it for week 1. We're on to week 2. In the NFL, as the regular season is in full swing, and of course, as always, we're right here talking about it on the Tyler Werner Show. As always, Facebook.com/Tyler Werner Show. Like the page, for more postings. And, of course, the YouTube channel. Send your comments there or on the Facebook page as always. So with that in mind is the Tyler Werner Show.
It's no big news flash that many people, you included, eat as a way to medicate themselves. You can choose to worry about it or not. You can choose to panic about your situation or not. It's clear what you must do in order to make important changes.
5 letters here. RELAX. Relax. We're going to be okay.
In order for you ever to effectively figure out and map how to get to where you want to go, you have to first know exactly where you are starting.
RELAX. Relax.
You have to be willing to change what you're doing. You can change your behavior.
Hi there, I'm Hank Hill. Well, I'd like to tell you what Strickland can do to meet your energy needs. You see, at Strickland, the customer comes first. It's kind of interesting. The word customer begins with CU. Well, we don't see you as just another sale, but as a member of our team. I thought you might enjoy 7.5 gallons of pure premium propane. Strickland Propane, the customer comes first.